one of the weapons that are being used to disguise many things which are indefensible are arguments that are designed to befuddle, right? These are wrong arguments that are hard to untangle. They can bury you in them faster than you can untangle them. And so the argument was that the claim that this Information Governance Board was a threat to freedom of speech was itself dis, and malinformation or something, right?
Right.
Viewers of this podcast will know dis, and malinformation was actually an invention of the Department of Homeland Security, that misinformation amounts to errors, disinformation amounts to lies, and malinformation, amazingly enough, amounts to things that are based in truth but cause you to distrust your government. In other words, the kinds of things that we have an absolute obligation to discuss. Right? The fact that our government may be untrustworthy, if that's true, we should be discussing it. It can't be, and not only, sorry, don't mean to rant at you, Michael, but not only did the Department of Homeland Security define dis, and malinformation as things to be worried about and controlled, but they literally defined them as a form of terrorism.
Yeah.
Right? Misinformation, errors, a form of terrorism. Disinformation, lies, a form of terrorism. Does that make humor terrorist? And then malinformation, true things that cause you to distrust your government. That's terrorism? I thought it was our patriotic obligation to talk about these things. So here you have the federal government literally using a magic term, terrorism, to eliminate the rights of people engaged in speaking true things about the government that might cause people to be alarmed. Right? That's an amazing fact of history. Yet very few people are even aware that it happened. Right? It's one of these things, like you can view it on the web. It's not that it was undocumented, but yet if you mention it to people, it sounds like a wild-eyed conspiracy theory.
Yes.
Right? That's one. It's its own defense because it's unbelievable.
Well, in conspiracy theories, we did a piece today about conspiracy theories, and it's important to keep in mind how many true things have been labeled conspiracy theories. Let's just take three. We're just going to take the top three that everybody agrees. Hunter Biden's laptop was Hunter Biden's laptop. It was not a conspiracy theory. And in fact, the alternative explanation was a conspiracy theory, which is that somehow the Russians did it, and there was no.
Yep.
They were two waterlogged laptops that the Biden in his drunken stupor dropped into his bathtub and gave to a computer store to repair. That's what it was. They had the subpoena from the FBI, the receipt from the FBI confiscating the laptop, published in the New York Post. So the conspiracy theory was that it was anything other than what it absolutely appeared to be, and that New York Post had the proof of. So that's number one. Number two, COVID lab leak theory. It was dismissed. The Washington Post's original headline was "Tom Cotton repeats debunked conspiracy theory." They then changed the headline stealthily, not acknowledged in the corrections, in fact. Not only had there been many lab leaks in the past, it had been the subject of front page newspaper coverage by USA Today, which noted that when they occurred, the people that had them occur on their watch tried to cover them up. And moreover, there had been debates involving Anthony Fauci in lab leak concerns, where President Obama sides against Fauci and bans gain-of-function research. These are all things that your listeners know very well. But the third would be that the Pentagon is covering up evidence of UFOs. That may still sound like a conspiracy to some people who have not been paying attention to the news, but anybody else knows that since 2017, the Pentagon has acknowledged that it is studying UFOs. It is now its own program called Arrow. And we had another Pentagon whistleblower come forward yesterday. So what we're seeing is that's just three examples of major things that were dismissed as conspiracy theories, all that have been proven to be real things in the last few years. And so conspiracy theory is something that I think we should understand to be like the word disinformation. It's a word that's designed by people in power to hijack our brains and get us to stop thinking critically.
Yes, and in fact, if you dig on that term, you will find that, and I'm not going to claim that the debate is perfectly settlable in either direction, but you will find that the CIA is actually interested in advancing that concept to dispel alternative explanations for the John F. Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, I've heard that
Those
too.
documents
Though I
actually-
also checked, when I checked that, I read that was a conspiracy theory.
Well, that's exactly why I say it's unresolved. I believe I've seen the documents. The documents are real. The question is, what exactly is the CIA trying to do in this case? And it could be ambiguous. But here's the larger point. You mentioned 3 conspiracy theories that we all now acknowledge. One of the 3 that you mentioned, I believe could be or is likely to be a double reversal. Yes, you phrased it very carefully. You have government programs to study what are now euphemistically called UAPs, whereas UFO was a perfectly viable description. It didn't claim that they were aliens. It just said we couldn't identify them, right? But here's the thing. The information that now suggests that we are to take UAPs or UFOs seriously itself has the appearance of a government psyop, that the government would like us now to be focused on this. And all of the things that constitute evidence in this realm are questionable in their own right.